The New York Giants just got sneaky good news despite that brutal loss to the Bears. Let's talk about it. My name's Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. Before we get going, do two things for me. First, hit that like and subscribe button. For better or for worse, I'm going to be talking Giants football all year round. I said this in a few videos. I try to be optimistic. I know this team's heading towards a dark end of the season, but it's still football season. I'm going to try to enjoy it, and I think this franchise is heading in the right direction. So I'm trying to stay positive. And then the other thing I want you to do is just hit me up in the comments. This is a safe space. Let's hash it all out. Tell me your thoughts on the game, what you liked, probably more about what you didn't like, what you think of. You want Shane fired, Dable. I think we all want Bowen fired. Where do you sit with those three guys? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. But let me try to spin this game into a more positive light for the Giants fans. Because while things are dark right now, as they say, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And I really think while these losses are painful, they could end up being the best thing for the Giants. But first things first, hopefully Jackson Dart's okay. It didn't look like that bad of a hit to his head, but he's got to slide. He's just got to start sliding because he had a monster game, and I think we can still be really positive about, no doubt in my mind, he is the guy. And I don't even think, obviously we want to get a good next coach, but, I think they could hire a defensive guy, and he is so good that some of these guys, I think Caleb Williams needs Ben Johnson to unleash him. I don't think Jackson Dart needs anybody. I think he's going to be a star in this league, so just get the best coach you can for the entire team. But what did kind of happen today is I think the Giants are starting to set themselves up for the draft next year. You look at the NFL standings, and yeah, you don't want to be tied for second to last, during the regular season. But come NFL draft next season, the Giants are starting to have a legitimate chance at the number one pick because you look at their schedule and it's tough. I don't know how a last place team from last year ended up with this brutal of a schedule, but it's playoff team, playoff team, playoff team. And then you got the Commanders haven't been great, but Jaden Daniels hasn't been healthy. He should be healthy by the time they play. Then you got a pretty solid Vikings team. Really, the only game that I think really is the only game I could see the Giants being favored in at this point is this Vegas Raiders game. But even that's on the road, and it's just tough to know. The Giants are good enough to beat anybody. We've seen them beat the Eagles. We saw them beat the Chargers. They should have beat the Broncos and the Bears. They were right there to win both of those games. Big fourth quarter leads. They probably win today if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt. So they could win any one of these games and it wouldn't surprise me. But if you compare their schedule to some of these teams that are competing with them for the number one pick, and the Giants have easily the toughest schedule. Pulling up the Titans here, they still have games remaining against the Jaguars, who can be pretty hit or miss, the Browns, who are very bad, the Saints, the Jaguars a second time. The Texans might still not have CJ Stroud next week. I know they got a big win today, but it's tough to know. And then you got the Saints. They won today, which was big for the Giants. Giants lost to them already, so they'll have the tiebreaker in the draft. But, the Saints still get Carolina again, who they won on the road against, still have the Jets, still have the Dolphins and the Titans. And so then you're seeing a pattern here with the Jets, the Titans, the Saints. A lot of them play each other still, and somebody's going to have to win that game. So the possibility of the Giants getting the number one pick is really starting to rise here. And if you look at next year's draft class, it's kind of setting the Giants up to maybe do what the Bears did a couple years ago. Just a reminder there, the Bears, they believed Justin Fields was the guy. Obviously, he wasn't, and I don't think the Giants will follow the exact same path of the Bears because I think Dart is the guy, and Fields they were kind of iffy on, but chose to give him that vote of confidence. But they ended up with the number one pick, decided they didn't need a quarterback, and the trade that they made ended up getting them the number one pick the following year, which was Caleb Williams, the right tackle of the future they had in Darnell Wright. They also got DJ Moore in that trade. They got Roma Dunze in that. Like, they literally rebuilt their entire team based off of the one trade they made from the top pick. And I think the Giants are setting themselves up, even if they finish with the second or third pick, to do something similar. Like right now, if you look at most draft projections, a lot of them have Fernando Heisman-Doza, as they're calling him, out of Indiana as the number one pick. A lot of people like Ty Simpson, number 2, and Dante Moore, number 3. That's QB, QB, QB. And then just kind of looking back at, these other teams who could potentially be picking high. The Titans, yeah, they just took Cam Ward this year, but he's looked really bad. Could we see a situation where it's like the Cardinals took Josh Rosen, and after 1 year, they're like, yeah, he's not the guy. We're going to try this again. Or, maybe they go someplace different. But like the Saints, same thing. They had took Tyler Shuck in like the second round, I think, and he had a decent game today, but I don't know. He's already 28, was really bad in the preseason, was ugly in his first start, had one decent game today, but I don't know that they're going to feel like they have the QB of their future. Same with the Browns, same with the Raiders, same with the Jets, Dolphins, like all these teams, it is very plausible that they're going to want a QB. So even if the Giants finish second or third, they could have the potential to trade down, add a future first, maybe get, trade for a position player that can come in and help year one, and then hopefully still pick in the top 10. And there's a lot of guys I'd love to see them get. Like, it'd be great to get a right tackle of the future. I like Illuminor, but I don't think he's going to be on the team long term. I don't see them going wide receiver this high. With Neighbors coming back, I don't think it makes sense. I wouldn't mind them taking one in the second round, but not the first round. But like Arvell Reese at linebacker has been dominant at Ohio State. Peter Woods could be a good guy to put next to Dexter Lawrence. I wouldn't mind seeing Caleb Downs at safety. He's been an absolute beast. So it's like the Giant, like when you are a team who has your franchise quarterback and you have the chance to pick in the top 5, it's great for you because for one, you could have another situation where like a guy like Abdul Carter, the best player in the draft, falls a couple picks to you. But then for 2, you also have the potential there to trade down and get a draft haul like the Bears got for Bryce Young back in the day to really rebuild your franchise around a bunch of new young players. And then obviously you probably bring in a new head coach, a new GM, and you get to start over with, like, the toughest thing to do is get your QB, and the Giants have that. And they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They just need the right coaching staff. And then I think the way the draft is starting to set up, it's really easy to see that the Giants could fill a lot of these holes just in the offseason. And I know people have called me crazy. I really think this team could be a team that competes for the playoffs next year. Jackson Dart, you got to learn how to slide and stop taking these hits. And then, obviously, Giants got to get healthy and get Scadaboo and Malik Neighbors back. So, like I said, it's going to be a tough end of the year. A lot more losses heading our way. But I think there's still reason to be super optimistic about the future of this franchise. You guys let me know what you think, though, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on your way out.